Welcome back, my most amazing artists. Today you are joining me in my dining room, and I just want to talk to you a little bit about paint. Sometimes we really think, we have it good when it comes to paint. When it came to a few hundred years ago, that wasn't the case. Well before these types of paints were invented, artists were still trying to find their own colors, and they were very, very expensive. A lot of those colors came from different things like berries and minerals that were crushed up. And so today, what I would like us to do is experiment a little bit at home with some of the things that we might have to make our own paint. So this is going to be kind of like a natural dye sort of situation. Today we're going to be experimenting instead of with paint. We are going to be using a variety of tea and a little bit of coffee. If you've ever been in my class, you probably have seen me with a cup of coffee in my hand or a cup of tea. I do love both. Today we're going to see how we can use those to make our art. So let's go ahead and get started. So boys and girls, if we're looking at this table right now, you'll notice that we have several different containers. I just made sure all of my containers were clear, and you don't have to make sure that they're clear, but it will help you to see the color a little bit better. And we are also working with either some paintbrushes if you have them, but if you don't, there's a pretty good chance that you have some Q-tips around your house. And these work pretty well as paintbrushes. So if you don't have a paintbrush, try to find some of these. And then you want something you can mix your paint in. And if you don't have something like this at home, you can definitely just use your container, or you can use something like a disposable plate or even a bowl. Everything we're working with today is food, so it will wash out of those things. Now, we are going to be steeping some tea. This is not an activity that you can do on your own. You will definitely need an adult's help for this. What I would recommend is finding, a variety of teas. So here I'm thinking about color. This one says purple acai blueberry. That tells me I might get like a blue or a purple color. I also have some wild berry tea, some black tea, some red tea, and some turmeric, which has a pretty nice yellow color. I've never tried any of these, so we're going to see what they look like today. What we're doing is we are heating up some water to where it's pretty hot. It doesn't need to be boiling. Just ask your parents' help to get you some water, and they can put the water into these containers for you. You don't need to fill your container very high. We are trying to make the paint color stronger and more intense. And in order for that to happen, we might need less water. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. So you see me go ahead and try to create some of my swatches. What we are going to do now is go ahead and try to make just one more painting without adding anything else to it. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a couple colors that I would like to start with, and I'm just going to paint you a picture. I hope that in this time you guys are staying happy, staying healthy, enjoying what little sunny weather we have had. I hope that you continue to enjoy doing these projects with me, seeing some really, really amazing things from you guys so far. So I'm trying this Wild Berry Zinger. And one thing I noticed about this paint from the swatch test is that it is drastically different when it dries. So that is one thing you want to look out for. That's why we do the swatch test first. You can already tell how different this color is from the other color. Look at that difference. It's going to dry into more of a purpley gray. Go ahead and show you that. This color is this color right here. Big difference. So let's see what else we can do. I'm actually gonna come back and see if I can maybe make it a little bit brighter. I know that's gonna make it dry a little bit longer, but that's okay. Got a little bit of a splash there. Also okay. Remember, we're just experimenting. This is a time to explore and ask yourself some of those questions that artists ask themselves all the time. You know, what if I change this? What if I try this? Oh, I wonder what would happen if I did this. You know, see if you can explore and experiment. Find what you like. Maybe you find some things through some failure that tell you some information. That's still learning, really important. So I'm going to try a different color here. This is one I found that I really, really like. And that is a red ribose tea. Actually ended up being really yellow despite the name red in its name. So I'm just trying to make sure I have a really bold color here. I'm kind of spreading it out. And remember, if it looks kind of gray right now, come back and check it when it dries. It might not look the same. Careful not to scrub on your paper, especially because your paper at home probably isn't watercolor paper, and I would really hate to see you put a hole in it. Easy to do, happens all the time. We're going to go back to this one. Careful about the way you hold your brush. Remember, if you switch colors, go ahead and rinse your brush just like you would at home. Or if you're not using a brush, it's okay to use multiple Q-tips or to flip them around. You just don't want to get coffee grounds in your yellow paint if that's not what you're trying to do. So just be careful. Speaking of coffee, I think I'm actually going to get a little bit of that out. And I know about this guy, if I dig from the bottom, I'm more likely to find some grounds, which are going to give me a much darker color than maybe some of this that's on top. So I'm going to go ahead and try with this one. Really like the way this one looks so far.